we've turned the ball over, 36 times. And you can't do that. You really can't do it at home, but I think you got to give your opponent some credit for that. I think that when people are pressuring you that hard, you've got to be able to drive the ball to get them off of you. And we don't have enough guys right now that are willing to go make that kind of play. I think we've got guys with the ability to do it, but they're going to have to go and not predetermine when they're driving the ball what they're going to do with it. They've got to go until they're stopped. And Missouri does a good job of getting into the gaps, and they maybe not full body all the time, but they do a good job of their gap strips. And we just got to get everybody confident. Tonight I thought Eve played with more confidence on the offensive end. We told Josiah and he before the game if they didn't shoot the ball, we were taking them out because we can't play with, 2 guys that aren't looking. It's putting all the pressure on other guys to do some things. Obviously, the scouting report on John Fulkerson is to be physical, try to be very physical with him, try to stand him up. And so he's going to have to get used. He had some looks at it tonight. He had 5 turnovers. I think they were all in the first half, I think. But that was tough. And then the free throws to start the game, it just, to create confidence, you just don't want to keep digging yourself out of a hole in 2 games in a row that we've done that. And so I don't think there's any question the scout report is going to be pressure these guys, see if they are willing to put it on the floor and see what they're going to do with it. And even with that said, you look at the game tonight. I mean, the free throws hurt too. When you're behind, you cannot turn it over. You can't turn it over at all, and then you cannot give up second shots at any point in time. And even there at the end of the game when they're trying to manage the clock and we're trying to create some chaos a little bit there and get some things going, we still had some chances, but we couldn't finish it we had some good looks at it, but we gave up a big offensive rebound that was a hurt. That one hurt. And as hard as we fought to grind back in it, we just got to get everybody back healthy and strong, and we'll be all right.
Rick, what do you need to see change or improve in Santi's game right now?
Do what?
What do you need to see change or improve about Santiago's game right now?
Honestly, Mike, he's not 100%. He's not. I watched him in shoot around today, and I could tell he was going, but he's such a tough, competitive guy. He said, "Coach, I want to try it," and he's struggling a little bit there, but he'll be back. I'm not worrying about it. I'm really not. I'm just impressed with the fact that again he said I want to play. He said I got to want to help my teammates, and he's not as quick as he normally is, but he'll be fine because he'll do all the things with our medical people here to get right.
What's he dealing with, and how long has he been dealing with it? He
got hurt, remember in the Florida game early, and it's a hip. He got hit in the hip area, and it's painful. Obviously, when he tries to slide, do this or do that. But like I said, he hadn't practiced. He has not practiced since the Florida game, and he came out today, and it was the first time he's been able to. He did go through our shoot around, so he understood what was going on. But it's hard not to practice, and he didn't. He's again. We all admire him for him just trying to play.
Troy, then Nicholas Hill.
Rick, is there a timeline for Jaden to get back, and how much has his absence played a part in these offensive struggles this week?
Well, he helps you in games like this. There's no doubt about it. The timeline is on his timeline. He's the guy that's got to know when he's ready to go and when he feels like he can give everything he's got. And yeah, I mean, there's no doubt. I mean, where we felt we would get better would be with he and Keon and on the perimeter in games like this where they can do some of that. But Jaden's missed it, and Keon's still finding. I mean, both of them, they're still learning why they're on the job here. But with that said, again, it's on his timeline.
Coach, how concerned are you right now with your defense, especially with Missouri's Xavier Pinson tonight scoring 27 points?
You know what? I'm not as concerned with our defense as I am with our offense because those two are married together. If we run good offense, we'll be better on the defensive end. There's no doubt about it. We're putting all the pressure on our defense, and we did a nice job on Jeremiah Tillman tonight. But the fact is, Pinson controlled the game. I mean, he was terrific, and they played really well. I don't want to take anything because I think Conzo does a terrific job. We've had back-to-back games against two teams that we had beaten, I think, 4 times in a row, and this is one of the older teams in the league, and I think that they came out tonight like, hey, we're going to go at it, and I said it in the pregame with Bob Kessling. I said that Jeremiah Tillman had one of the great lines I've heard from an older guy that he had lost a game, and they asked him about, will you learn something? He said, we're too old. We don't need to lose a game to learn something. And I thought they played like a veteran team. I think they knew exactly what they wanted to do, and Conzo made really nice adjustments, and he saw what his team was doing well, and he kept feeding it.
Rob Lewis and Wes Rucker.
Coach, you talk about Missouri's age, maturity. How much do you think your team is still, learning how to win, how to fight back? Like an example tonight, after Fulke's 3-point play, you cut it to 8, but then Missouri goes down and your guys can't get a stop to kind of build on that.
Yep. And I do think that we've been pretty good with it, Rob. Again, that was, I think, probably when I think we got him to shoot a tough shot, and I don't know if that was the exact sequence, but we gave up a rebound at a time, and then we ran a good out of bounds play and got Eve a wide open look, and then he missed it, but got it back out, and then BJ hit it, and actually executed a couple things in special situations that we haven't had to use up until this point. But yeah, or definitely there's some learning going on, and I think it's not just the younger guys. I think John Fulkerson and Eve Pons again are getting game plan heavily, but if Eve will continue down this way, and Josiah will get consistent with that. But we need everybody, and I thought that Ticket went in and gave us some energy, and obviously that at times we need to get scores on the floor, and I think Keon will continue to learn that, hey, if he goes in there and starts spinning back, people are going to attack and go get the ball. But the fact is, to answer your question, I do think there's still some learning going on in terms of how to, when you're behind. But tonight, I didn't think there was any panic. I thought the other night at Florida, we were just terrible. We were just glazed over eyes and like, what happened, but it was from the beginning. I was surprised we turned the ball over the way we did because we knew they were going to come in and be aggressive. All you have to do is watch the film and knew that they would do that. I'm just surprised again that, the turnover, the way we turned it over in the first half, knowing what they were going to do.
Rick, you talked about with Fulke guys being more physical with him. How much more physical are they being with him than they would have been maybe late last season? Because he kind of went on a tear there last season, and people started recognizing him then too.
Well, again, if we know if we just post them up. Last year we were able to we did it tonight some, and I will tell you this: he should have gotten the ball a few more times because he was open when we had a little cross screen action there, and that's where the guards have got to deliver the ball to him. I mean, I thought he worked hard a few times to really get the ball, and they have to. And our guards don't understand yet, even in a game when people are pressing up and doing that. Yeah, do we need to get by them and drive? We do. But that doesn't mean that we can't throw the ball inside. We should really be able to do it more because there's more space when people are playing 35 feet from the basket. But it's a matter of being poised with the ball. But with Fulke, we're trying to move him around as much as we can to get him in space and let him. Because one, he's a good player. He knows how to pass ball. He knows how to play. He's missed a few shots a year ago. He was making all those little shots around the rim, and I have to believe that he'll get it back before we're done. And we need him to, obviously, but he's having to learn to make some adjustments himself.
Gustavo and David Pascal.
Coach, since you guys won in Missouri on the road, you guys are 3-3. How do you compare that team that won in December to the team that played tonight and lost to the same opponent?
Well, we think about it. We came out exact opposite up there. I think we opened up the game with 7 straight field goals. And driving the ball, what we did up there, we were down. Jaden was very effective in that game. Keon, if you go back, they both drove the ball well, got in there and made some plays. But tonight, as time goes on, again, people will adjust, and they will not just adjust with what you're doing. They'll adjust personnel. As time goes on, people see what guys do. Like you saw up until it'll change a little bit now that he banged some of those threes. I mean, they were just backing off him totally, just like go ahead, shoot all you want. Keon, people back off, trying to take away his drive. So Santi, pressure, get him, try to keep him going to his right. Once he puts it on the floor, get into the gap, make it hard for him to pass out of it. Josiah, space him, and normally I would say that I go back again, the turnover. I am surprised by the turnover. That's all I can tell you. I'm shocked by it, to be honest with you. We normally handle the ball. The last 2 games we've been pathetic, taking care of the ball. And like I said, you turn the ball over 36 times in 2 games. It puts so much pressure on you. It is, and the way we do it, and we normally don't do that. We normally are very, very good, and I could sit down and break it down to maybe players' confidence right now. They're being a little bit hesitant, and if that's the case, we got to get out of that. Nothing does better than that than when you got to have everyone involved. That not just one guy doing it, but everybody's got to be synced in and lined up, and then everything will flow better.
Rick, I want to ask you about one of those turnovers. I guess it was about 9.5 minutes to go. You got onto Keon a little bit because he overthrew a pass in transition there. Were you upset with his pass or his decision to throw that ball?
The decision. That's got to be 100% of the time. You can't. And again, they were back, and because it was up in the air as long as it was, by the time it gets there, it's like a bunch of bees getting on the honey. I mean, that's got to be a quick, earlier pass. He's done that twice now. He did it the last game when we were down. That would be like a quarterback that coaches talk about. They just feel like they can thread the needle, and they keep trying to at the wrong time. You got to have, again, it just wasn't a good decision. If it was a good decision, it would have been called. Now, the last game, that was Polky put his hand up for it and then turned his head and didn't look for it. But tonight, again, you just cannot turn the ball over when you're down. You can't. I like the fact that he's looking, but that's got to be a 100% accurate play or you can't do it.
Finish up with Ben McKee, then Mike Wilson.
Coach, how would you assess your defenses or your help defense tonight? Seemed like that led to some open shots for Missouri.
Well, they drive the ball hard, and we want to get in. They shot the ball well. They really shot the ball well. And we let down a couple of times and gave a couple of their shooters. Pinson was terrific. He made some great rim shots. He made some great shots at the great layup. I love guys that are big time layup makers. I love them. I think that's an art. I think it's a talent. He got in there and he's very slippery and quick but he got confident and felt like he could go wherever he wanted to go when he wanted to do it. And when you guys play in straight lines like that, it's really hard. It's really hard to help. Plus, they were kicking out and with confidence, shooting the ball, taking shots. And then they get you into rotation. Shot goes up. You're not quite in the same position you want to be to rebound the ball. But I'll go back. If we're better on offense and where we can keep more pressure on them on offense, it makes all that a little bit tougher. You give a team lead and they sense that, hey, you're struggling on the other end and don't think that you can score against them. It gives them so much more confidence on the offensive end because they feel, hey, we'll go down, we'll just get a stop and we'll come back down and do it again. So the two have to be married. They have to be. And last 2 games, our offense has not been very good.
Rick, just wanted to ask your early impressions of meeting Danny White. Did you have any knowledge of him before or reach out to Nate Oates to kind of learn about him and how was yesterday?
Well, obviously, I know about the White family and the pedigree there from his dad, and obviously from coaching against Mike and knowing that most of the family's in athletics some way. The thing that I would say, I got a call in the morning, mid-morning, or a text from Chancellor Plowman, and said she'd like to talk to me real quick. And she called, and from the time I picked up the phone, her voice was so exciting. She just said, I'm telling you, we got a great great athletic director. I'm just in her voice. I mean, you could just hear that she actually said, I know we just hit a home run. And so that alone, I knew that her excitement and the fact that they went, I think, quicker than they thought. I don't think they thought it, but I think that obviously Danny did a great job with the Zoom interview. And when they met him, to put it quite simple, I think he blew them away. And from the time he got here, I don't think there's any question that he's got a lot of confidence. I think he's got, and he should have, because he's done some great things, great hires, and a lot of basketball coaches, guys that I know and that he's hired, and they've done great jobs. But he's done a great job at Central Florida. And when you look at it, his enthusiasm, he did meet with the head coaches, and the fact is, he has already reached out to student athletes. He wants their input. And I think it's always great. I think Chancellor Plowman did exactly the same thing. She came in here with her listening, wanting to get a lay of the land. And her thought was, hey, this is a great place, and we're going to make it better. And there's no doubt in my mind, that's exactly the way I felt from him from the beginning, that he was asking questions. He asked the head coach when we were together, are there any questions? And I love what he said. He said, hey, there's a lot of great things that we've done that have gone on here. He wants to take that Power T, and he wants to take it and make it the best in the country. And that's exciting. And the fact is, there is no doubt great days are ahead. And will we get through where we are right now? Absolutely. There's no doubt. And the fact is, and again, what I felt was how excited he was want to be here, and how much he believes in this university, and the fact that he's got a stellar reputation and how he does things and how he wants them done. And again, he exudes confidence, which I think that anybody that has been successful as he is, you have to have that. But yet his humility showed through, which was terrific. And I've been around a long time now, and I've seen a lot of people, and there is no doubt in my mind he's a great hire, and he's going to do great things for this university.
Thank you.
Thank you, Coach.